And we'll quickly look at that. Earlier, Martin Amidu had released two statements, and he came back to say he stands by what he had released. Currently, he's calling Tiger IPI a fraudulent organization, and it says here that, I have said, and we're quoting Tiger, he says, I've said already or elsewhere that the government used dummy and fraudulent Tiger IPI to target the judiciary. Those are the words of Martin Amidu, because it has since 2009 considered the judiciary as a political opponent, reluctant to convict its political opponents tried before the courts. Government has spurred Parliament's publication of its undercover videotape because of the damage the publication may do to government members in Parliament. Caught on it, and not because it likes the opposition in Parliament, for whose sake the operation was undertaken in the first place. Now, there's no guarantee that the Orwellian Big Brother state being created by this government and its dummy Tiger IPI has not already extended to covert investigations and operations against private citizens and political parties considered and perceived as political opponents. The mystic and myth of the mask, which fraudulent and dummy Tiger IPI has and is enjoying with the protection of the government, is the same as that portrayed by the Orwellian Big Brother that instilled fear, intimidated and controlled the minds of citizens in George Orwell's one-party state in his book in 1984. Now, the 1992 Constitution and Democracy are clearly under attack and must be defended with an exclamation sign. It says, Ghana first. And we'll go on the phone line now and speak to Anas Arimio's lawyers on this issue. And lawyer Kwesi Ejabin is Anas's lawyer. Very good evening to you, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. What does your client say about the current attack on him by Mr. Martin Amidu?
Well, I believe maybe you've seen his response on the speech.
Yes, go ahead.
It's simple. Our position is very simple. He is holding a solution, looking for a problem, because there's no problem at all. He has created his own problem. He set his own questions, and he's answering all the issues that he's raised in respect of Tiger. I just ludicrous. They are unfounded, totally so. Because if you claim that it is an unregistered company just because the name normally gets redacted, I've been giving this example all day. If you have Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Ghana Limited, and when they write it, they redact it to Coca-Cola. Does not mean that Coca-Cola is not a registered company in Ghana or in the world, so to speak. So if you have Tiger IPI Media something, and it is just written as Tiger IPI, and you are fastidious and insistent that because the name has been redacted and not written in full, it is an unregistered company, it is a fraudulent company, then you are creating your own problem. No problem exists. You have the solution, which is at the Registrar General's Department. The solution is there. You've gone for the solution and you are looking for a problem. How can you be chasing a problem with a solution?
Okay. There's a feeling of preferential, treatment given Anas, and as a lawyer, would you interrogate, cross-examine somebody who is hooded?
Well, we've gone over this matter over and over again. See, it is not just
no, I'm asking your professional opinion, not even in Anas's case, because, we've had lawyers talk about it. Lawyer Debugree, yes.
That's what I'm trying to answer, madam.
All right, okay, go ahead.
And it's not just a simplistic view of I cannot cross-examine someone who is hooded, or why should I cross-examine someone who is hooded. In every jurisdiction, what's its name? That's what we call a witness protection program. If it becomes necessary that the witness be protected to preserve his life and his limbs, then it behooves on the authorities to ensure his safety. His safety is more important than any one case. A person's life is more important than any one case. In some jurisdictions, the witnesses who are being protected may not even be in the same room with you. They may not even be in the same city with you. They may be somewhere else, and you can cross-examine them via technology. But in this case, the person is sitting before you. What will seeing his face do in respect of what is on the tape?
Okay.
Does it change the fact that you were taking money on the tape? Does it change the fact that you're having a conversation you shouldn't have had on the tape? Or will his face then immediately erase everything that is on the video? It becomes amazing that when a problem like this arises, all of a sudden we forget everything and we start nitpicking.
Okay.
His life and his limbs are more important than any single case. That is before the committee now.
Okay. Will Anas be taking other action against Mr. Martin Amidu, beyond just posting or issuing a statement on Facebook?
We do not discuss strategy on air.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for talking to us. Now we'll go on the phone line and speak to the executive director for Ghana Integrity Initiative, Vitus Azim. A very good evening to you, and thank you very much for joining us here on News at 10.
Good evening.
All right. You two anti-corruption campaigners are practically, throwing shades at each other. From where you sit, what does this say in general? I mean, in terms of, the impact it will have not only on their work, but also the public?
Well, I think that it's unfortunate that it's happening like this. But then, at the end of the day, it will help each of them to reflect on their approach to things and probably clean up and not leave any possibility of people to punching holes into whatever they do.
Okay. But does it really matter whether government-sponsored the current investigations, given that Anas himself had come out earlier, in previous ones, they've stated where they've had collaboration with the government on investigations?
Yes, I think to some extent there's a problem if government decides to use private investigators to do things that institutions have been set up and people have been hired and trained to do. It's a duplication of effort, it's a misuse of funds, because we have the police, we have the Yoko, we have various groups of various institutions that have been set up as government institutions to do these things. Now, if civil society, like the investigative journalists come in, they are coming in to complement what the state institutions are doing, probably because they are not doing enough, and so they are coming to plug some holes. But then they cannot take over what these state institutions do. And so, that is a problem, because why do we employ establish these institutions, pay the people to work, and then we still have to go out and hire people, private people to do that?
Okay. Mr. Martin Amidu is known as an anti-corruption campaigner, and so is Anas. Beyond the rebuttal, could this attack on him, given the reputation that Mr. Amidu equally has, have an effect on Anas's work?
Yeah, definitely it will have an effect on Anas's work, especially if it comes out, like the way they're treating these allegations. If it comes out that one has done something that has a dent on the immigration, the image of the work they are doing, definitely it will have an effect. For example, if Matamir is able to actually produce evidence of something that show that Anas's work is not credible, then the lawyers of the judges and other people are going to jump at it and take it against Anas.
Okay.
And then they may go to court and argue that, because of this and this, it should not, the court should throw away these things. And with the law, it's very funny, and they can actually do that. So definitely has an effect on what Anas is doing.
Okay. The video was, shown to the public. I was there to see it, 3 hours. But they had mentioned, Tiger had mentioned that indeed they had about 500 hours of video. And I doubt that, any Ghanaian could sit down. But maybe the relevant authorities, they can sit and watch it. With the comments by Mr. Amidu that, they have edited and skewed and taken out things just to favor a certain party, will it be important for us to make that available for anyone who wants to see it? And indeed, they haven't even denied inviting people to see it.
Well, I think this is TV3. When you go out and take, you record people, you definitely have to edit it. You cannot just put everything there. Some of the things probably do not make sense, and so I believe that there will be some amount of editing. But then you should not edit such that you take away very important, vital information. If they did that, it can be approved. It can be proved. Then, of course, that is the thing that will definitely damage the image of the work that they have done, and that's the problem.
Okay. This originally was an attack on the government because Mr. Amidu said, government is shielding, protecting people who had been affected, whether in the legislature and the like. Why was it necessary for Anas to also come out and set the records straight, even though, he had, in a way, mentioned him before even the second one and the third one came in?
Well, it's because of the interpretation given to it. If you allege that government collaborated or hired him to do the work, and that as a result, government has control on the outcome. Definitely, it's important for Anas to also come out and deny, especially if it's true that the government has no hand in it. Because if government has hired you to do something, definitely they will want to have a control over what comes out, which questions the credibility of what you have produced. And that's why it's important for Anas to also come out and show it's true that, yes, this is not the case. Government had nothing to do with this. We did it on our own, and there was nobody that tempered with whatever the outcome was.
Okay. I want to go back to the issue of funding. For a private organization to take up an investigation like that, I mean, it was such a huge investigation. But is it normal to ask for funds to conduct such an investigation and, take, whether it's from government or whoever, and still maintain your neutrality?
Yes. See, like I work in the civil society community. We don't produce. We're a non-profit organization. We don't produce our own funds. We go out to look for funding and do the work that we want to do. Usually, you will go to people that are interested in the areas that you are working. So yes, you can go and ask, and they'll support you. But then you also have to make sure you don't go to areas where they want to control your product. Especially in the case of Anas, you are doing an investigation. You don't want the funder to say that you must do it one way or the other, and that you should not be able to maybe show certain things that you have come up with. And that's what we have been insisting. And anti-corruption agency must insist that, yes, you are giving me funding to do 1, 2, 3, but you should not want to control what I am doing. I will do what I've told you I will do, but then the method and whatever I do with the product should not be what you want.
Okay. From where you sit, what do you want to see happen after this? Because, with the back and forth keeps going on. The lawyer has said, obviously, they are not going to tell us what their next strategy is, whether they will maybe take an action against Mr. Amidu or not. Even Anas has given you an extensive statement. What do you want to see from where you sit happen between both men who have a reputation to protect?
Well, I think the best approach is for them to come clean, admit where you have done wrong, and put in the public domain what you have actually done. Transparency and accountability are very key in the fight against corruption. So if some of the things that Matamir has said that Anas has done are true, Anas should come out and admit that, yes, I did 1, 2, 3, they were wrong, I'm sorry, I'm going to do it this way. If on the other side too is the same with Honorable Matamir, what he has done that is wrong, he should also at some stage admit that, well, I had wrong information and I came out with this. And then at the end of the day, each of them will clean up the wrong things that they have done, and then everybody will be happy with the outcome.
Okay. Now, one would say that Mr. Amidu hasn't been in government since, I believe, 2010. And but in the statement, he says, given what I know what I'm talking about and the like. For a former attorney general, people do take him serious. But can people also say maybe he's relying on hearsay, rumor, and the like, and so he might not really be available and privy to the facts?
Well, that I cannot also comment on. He might not be privy to all the facts.
Okay.
But at least at the time that he was in office, especially if it had to do with the Attorney General's office, he would know the things that happened.
Okay.
But of course, after that, he's been out of government. Before that, he was not in government. So, yes, there could be certain problems with the information that he has. And that's why I'm saying that when he gets to a stage where he realizes that some information that he has is wrong, he should admit that, yes, it is wrong, and then that should lead to a better solution of the problem.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to us. Visos Azim is the Executive Director for Ghana Integrity Initiative, and I want to read just, about 2 paragraphs of Anas's statement, the current statement that he has released. It says here that from on TV3network.com, here it says that he in a strongly worded statement issued on Wednesday afternoon by Anas on his Facebook page in a response to the third statement from Mr. Martin Amidu, He simply said that Mr. Hamidu should not be threatened by his works in uncovering corruption. He has rubbished Mr. Hamidu's, claim that the government is using dummy and fraudulent annals to create one-party state, describing the latest episode by the former AG as confused, rumbling, and incoherent mishmash of anecdotes, poorly spun yarns, untruths, half-truths, and white lies. And the full statement is available. And he says that, that they have conducted, he just, he puts in points, he bullets, what is it called? He puts in bullet points, the allegations against them by Mr. Hamidu, and then he responds to them, so you can also read it. But there was a line where he talks about the fact that, second, that what evidence does Mr. Hamidu supply to his unfortunate commissioning allegation after he beats his chest and claimed that on the alleged basis of his previous positions in government, in quote, I know what I'm talking about. Mr. Hamidu is unable to produce any report or memo or refer to any discussion that came to his attention in the course of his work relating to his alleged commissioning. His weak defense is to refer to a statement we have made that we were at some point conducting an investigation at the request of the late President Mills. He says Mr. Hamidu should not worry at all. They are not here to dim his light. That, if you light another candle, you don't dim the light on the other one. And it goes on and on. So you can read the full statement by Anas Arimio. Send us your thoughts.